Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another LEGO City update. Just finished placing the zoo yesterday, looking pretty fresh over there. Now it's time to start working on the surrounding area, but we're actually gonna hop over to the left side here where we have the countryside, the train yard. We're gonna make some modifications to the roads today. I think we should start with the easy task, but monotonous and repetitive, and that is improving the look of these, just because the difference is like night and day. We need to fix that up. So we're going to remove all of these plates. We're going to bring them up to our desk and we're going to start throwing down thousands and thousands of parts. I decided to number all the plates with masking tape. So we've got plate number 1, which of course is our example, all the way to plate number 9. That's a lot of studs. How many studs is it? I don't know, quite a few though. So we've got to go around and add all the wedge plates on either side as well, just to give it a unique shape, because a lot of this is pretty rough right now. But I'm excited to see the before and after. So here we go. This is before. Let's take a look at after. Here we go. Much better. Worth the effort? What do you think? I think so. The wedge plates give it a nice shape. All the different various pieces, give it that gravel road look and texture. I can't wait to place it in the city and connect the 2 different sections. Finally, it's gonna look epic. Oh my gosh, everybody, how good does this look? We officially have the 2 different sections of completed gravel road connected with more completed gravel road. Like, wow, the POV of that is amazing. I just love that. I am thrilled right now. Now the gravel road does get a little bit wider over here, and we did that on purpose because we figured there would be like a parking spot, maybe vehicles could pull into the shoulder, and that's where they would park so they can go access the A-frame cabin. Does that make sense? I think so. We do realize that the gravel roads aren't the widest, more so like one-way roads, but if one vehicle sees another vehicle coming, well, they can just pull onto the shoulder and be considerate to one another. We didn't want to make the road too wide because that would just consume a lot of parts, and also just there'd be more space allocated to roads. So we're pretty happy with the width of it at this point. But look at that! Wow. All right, we've got lots of other upgrades to make to this area, so let's continue. Now, I want to continue working on the train yard as well, and I'm not a huge fan of the way that the dark bluish gray train track just sort of sits on top of these dark bluish gray road plates. So I'm going to swap those out for 16 by 16 green plates. That's going to match up with the other areas in the train yard, and then I can like treat these train tracks the same way that I treated the other train tracks, with all of the underlying plate and tile, giving them that finished ballast look. Now, it doesn't look like there's vehicle access in this area, but I think that's going to come after we install all of this train track. Like, we've got to get all the train track where it needs to go, and then we can think about vehicle access. But now that I've got those plates switched up, there's a bunch of work in relation to just getting the ballasting finished underneath those tracks. The first thing I decided to do was just do like a perimeter of like 1x1 plates and 1x1 circular studs, just on all these weird angles and switches that we have. And now I can remove this track and I can tile right up to that line. And then it's going to give it the same sort of look as the other tracks here. There's still some stuff that we need to like tidy up. There's still some green popping out on the sides there, but I think if I give this the ballast look, then it'll sort of look uniform throughout the entire train yard. So that's going to be my next thing here. I just got to pop these tracks out and lay a bunch of tiles. I've got all my parts down here, so just sort of taking it slowly as it's going to be a slow process, just because you're dealing with little tiny parts like 1x1s in a mass area, just like the gravel road. So there we go. I think these changes clean up this area pretty good. I added some 1x1 and 1x2 black tiles to the ballast switch track plates, so those look pretty clean now. They sort of match up with the black ties on the straights and curves. And then I also did the same to the flex track segments as well, and they have just plate underneath them, sort of giving it a ballast look somewhat. I mean, there's always more details that we can add to this area, and we will be doing that, such as like the vegetation and all the different scenes and the roads and the vehicle access, all that different stuff. But we're trying to get some of the gravel roads done today, like we already did there. And I want to take care of the next gravel roads here. So thousands of more pieces to make these look consistent. And also, I want to fix up this road by making some changes. And believe it or not, the changes over here involve ripping out the gravel road. I know, what the heck? We're building a bunch of gravel roads and we're also ripping one out. That makes no sense. But this one here, it connects to that circuit by the zoo drop-off there. So we're actually going to make this consistent, the dark bluish gray. But it's not going to be like your average dark bluish gray road. It's not going to be a smooth tile finish. I'm going to leave those 2x4 spots and 1x4 spots open on the road plates, and then we're going to fill them in with some dark bluish gray plate and also some miscellaneous like reddish brown, tan, nougat plates and things like that. And it's going to make it look like the gravel or dirt from the gravel road has been sort of tracked on to this standard city road, and it's a little bit more rough. Now it's actually not going to be straight, it's going to veer to the right a little bit, and that's going to lead it to the straight section within the train track. So then we can put a train track crossing, which will then bridge into the gravel road and countryside. So I just gotta like rip all this apart and install those dark bluish gray road plates. Luckily for us though, we're gonna be able to salvage some of the reddish brown plates that have been like fully detailed with the gravel road elements. So we can salvage those and actually reuse them in a different section. So this was actually suggested to me in the comment section. Somebody said, I don't like how it transitions from like your regular city road immediately into gravel road, even though it did transition a little bit. I sort of agreed with that, so I decided to make like a roughed up city road that has the gravel sort of being tracked through it, if you will. And you can see it sort of veers to the right there, and then it'll lead to the railroad crossing, which I still need to work on. And we're gonna haul these plates up next and continue building more gravel road. We may as well try and get it all connected. Geez, that's getting a little bit repetitive, but we may as well take care of it. But I think this looks a lot better. I think it's more consistent with that over there. And I think we've got a decent amount of like off colors, that being the tan and nougat and dark brown, or sorry, reddish brown. It's not like too much of it. Sometimes I think when you use too many different part varieties and too many different colors, it starts to look a bit crazy. Okay, I guess the time is here, everybody. More excitement. You know what? It's sort of like therapy. I'm talking about gravel roads, putting more parts on reddish brown plates. But if we can get this section connected today, that would look fabulous. We've got the upgraded road, the upgraded train track, and more gravel road. It's just sort of connecting everything and completing a project, technically, because it's the gravel road. And it's been on the to-do list for quite some time. Pretty happy to try and conquer it today. Okay, so the original plan was to have this road be a T intersection right here, and it's now a corner. So we're gonna wipe out this road, which has that little bridge that goes over that little river there, that little creek, and eventually it was gonna turn right, and it was gonna go underneath the city through that tunnel. But when Mrs. Bricksie and I were looking at it, we decided that it didn't really make sense to have a tunnel here and a tunnel over there. The idea of it is very cool, but we couldn't figure out how to logistically get the roads through here. We would have to build the road all the way across there, and we have like the elevated road over there leading into the tunnel. Like this road is built up so high, and the plan was to have a bridge going over top of the train and then have it go down and into the tunnel. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is modify this platform. I'm actually going to shorten it, so it probably goes to like here or so that we can get this bridge coming over onto the high ground, and then there'll be a slope going down into the tunnel, if that makes sense. I think it makes more sense than having this bridge come over and then immediately go down, or have like, you know what I mean? It's just going to be easier to work in this area if I run with that idea. So I'm for sure going to do that. But we decided that we didn't really need a tunnel over there, and we didn't really need a road connecting the two roads in the backside, and we weren't sure how we were going to connect this road into this tunnel when there's a bridge and a train track and a bridge going over top. We need like a train track crossing, and it would just be really weird. So we decided to scrap the idea of that tunnel over there. So now the roads, which I realize my Lego city is like the Truman Show. You notice how there's no roads leading off the table? Where we're going, we don't need roads, I guess. Yeah, I should probably have a road just leading off the table somewhere. But now the roads no longer go through that tunnel entrance. They only go through this one here, and it's technically one big circuit. So they can go through there, they can pop out in the countryside, they can go through here, and eventually connect to the countryside, and then make their way through the countryside. There's no more connecting road going that way to a second tunnel. We just didn't really see the need to have a second tunnel. So it's like one big circuit. And eventually these roads are going to have to branch off and go other places unless we don't do that, but I'd assume we're going to have to, because we're going to have to bring roads up to like the campsites, which are going to be on this mountain. And it would be nice to have some mountain roads going up to these different mountains that we eventually plan to build here. But one thing at a time. We wanted to get the roads done today we wanted to get the roads that we had already started done today, and that's just what we did. Did you see the gravel road over there? It's definitely pretty slick. They now fully connect and they're fully detailed. So it's pretty sweet. Pretty happy with that. Oh my gosh, I love the look of them here. It is just great to get the base construction done for this. And also the railroad crossing has been upgraded as well, with some curved slopes and then some packed on mud on the track there. So these vehicles can now drive over the railroad crossing. So I think that's pretty clean. And I think this is a lot cleaner as well. So now that we have this done, I feel confident moving on to like the next stage, which would be like vegetation. I like to get this stuff done first because we knock over trees when we move plates around and add roads, etc. I feel like over the last couple days, things have really come together. Finishing the zoo and placing it, fixing the connecting roads that go through the countryside, fixing that train track, getting rid of those dark bluish gray road plates. I think that looks a lot cleaner. Like that is way better. And yeah, just a ton of progress. I feel like that was awesome. And we can pretty much consider the gravel road project to be done at this particular point, other than that road over there. But I'll probably leave that because it's a different one. It's actually raised up, so it's different than this one. It's not sunk into the mill's plate. And probably leave it for when we figure out how it's going to go underneath that mountain there and through the tunnel. Yeah. So I feel good though. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I sure did. Feel like we got lots done. Thousands and thousands and thousands of parts were laid. That's for sure. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Farewell.